We want to just give a 30-day notice.
How you could,
Hey, Dad. Mr. Miller?
what I think is really good is that she keeps getting the taxes.
Yeah, we got
Hey, Kevin. Hey, Joe.
She has no visible.
Gentlemen. All right.
And it does sound like she works the system to her advantage.
even what they say.
So you're thinking August 7th?
Wednesday.
Good.
What gets me is they teach years.
We're going on a
Come to,
float boat
I mean,
trip
these people are saying
for,
the house is not good for him.
JR's 40th.
Now we get back to
Yeah.
Building inspector should have been in there and come to a determination.
Like Monday through Friday.
You know,
A little nervous about the close quarteredness of 5 couples.
well, I think.
us,
I think the
Turners,
neighbors are in there.
JR.
Are you guys going to tow anything with it?
I think we're gonna take a boat and a jet ski or sea-doo, whatever it is.
Because I got a
If the
rowboat
place is
ordered.
moving,
JR bought a fishing boat. You know he's moving?
So it's out?
I think it's for sale.
Wow. Where's it going?
Muskegon.
Oh, I did hear that. Is he bumming about that, or what's
I think he's really excited. I haven't seen much of him this summer, but packing up the kids and,
Wow.
yeah,
Is he going to run it out? Oh, his dad bought a new company.
yeah,
That's what I heard.
yeah,
Is it like
yeah. Things called Sense. And they have this patent on the material that takes like carbon fibers, weaves them into the regular clothing, and then when you throw it in the dryer, those fibers lock. And it's supposed to keep your odors down. Or do you, yeah. I would like to call to order. You ready, John? Yes, I was 15 seconds ahead of schedule. I'm going to get in and get out. Sammy, you ready? Okay. I'd like to call to order the July 16th regularly scheduled Sylvania Township Board of Trustees meeting at 6 p.m.
Roll call, Mr. Haddad. Here. Mr. Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Genowine.
Here.
Simcoe, here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the June 18th minutes. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second, because you weren't here, John.
No.
Kevin Haddad, okay. Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
I wasn't here, so.
Oh,
I'm,
abstain.
Abstain.
All righty.
Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
I have one addition under administration. I received an email from Mr. Simcoe the other day asking for an update of where we stand on the fire station. And so I have Kevin and Joe Velder here and the chief, and we'll have a report and some numbers for you.
Great, great. Anything else?
I just have something other about the township stuff from the state.
Okay. Did anyone sign in? No? Okay. The zoning department. Darryl.
Good evening. The first item I have is the monthly report for the month of June for zoning. We had a pretty good month. The Board of Zoning Appeals had 3 cases. The first one was a variance for extending the parking lot at 4126 Holland Sylvania Road. That's the medical office building right next to Oak Leaf, across the street from Franciscan. That was approved. There's a conditional use on Shetland Road for federally licensed firearms dealer to conduct firearms transfers on the property. And then the third item that was also approved was a variance for a swimming pool in a front yard of a residential property. It's enclosed in a courtyard, so it's not really visible, even though it is technically the front yard. The zoning commission was canceled, nothing on the agenda. Project plan review, we had another parking lot extension for Kings Point, and Muna Market on Monroe Street, 5464 Monroe. That went through PPR as well. For permits, it was a pretty good month. We had 38 permits at just a little bit under $4 million in value. And year-to-date, we're at 152 and at about $15.5 million in value. Jim, if you can jump to the next page there, please. New housing permits continue to roll in. We're at 42 for year-to-date. You can see that's as good as the last 2 years combined. We're just under 91% increase in single-dwelling permits for year-to-date. And then the dollar value is a little over $10.5 million. That's just under 45% increase from the previous year. Oops. There's another page there after the graphs.
Sorry.
Yeah, want me to tell you that Denny's is opening up on...
There we go.
Yeah, just a couple little notes here. 6920 Central Avenue, the former IHOP, Denny's is going to be moving into there. They've already applied for sign permits. 7417 Central, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, they've already bought the property. They'll be going through project plan review next month, and that's between Burger King and Bison Leather, Tuffy Auto Service, right across from the old Central Elementary. 5464 Monroe Street, again, Muna Market. They've already been through, been through project plan review. They should be breaking ground pretty soon. And Waterside, Sylvania is back from the grave, back in business. We've already, I've got 4 new dwelling permits down here, but since I've typed this up, we've had a couple more, so it's probably at 6 or 7 already.
Good.
So they're roaring back. So that's all I have for the monthly report, and then I have some abatement resolutions. Resolution 13070. 2 of those properties, the grass has been cut, so they no longer need to be abated. That's 3217 Knoll and 5822 Park Center. The other 6 I do need to have abated.
All right, for resolution 13-070 to authorize abatement of the properties except for the 2 mentioned.
Second.
Mr. Hadad?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Genoway?
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you check out that one property yet? The one over on, by the school? On,
Yes.
Yeah.
Sent a letter to them already.
Okay, good.
Then I have Resolution 13077, authorization to abate the property at 3205 Piero. This one, initially, it was debris in the backyard. It now also has high grass and weeds throughout the property. They've received multiple notices, and we've had no response.
I'll offer resolution 13-077 to abate the property at Piero Avenue,
Second.
Go ahead, John.
Mr. Hadad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genoway?
Yes.
And my final item is Resolution 13078, authorization to abate the property located at 5946 Riga Drive. This is a vacated home. Somehow, somebody's cutting the grass, but there are probably about 20 trash bags in front of the garage that have been there for at least a couple weeks, probably longer. It's only a matter of time before they get ripped open, or so. I'm not really sure what's in there, but
Probably dead animals. All right, I'll offer
It's lawn and yard waste. I did not go up and inspect it, but somebody else told me that when they walked over there, it was lawn and yard waste.
are you aware, is there any plans by anybody to
The couple
remove?
that lived in there, they moved, and we have not heard from them since.
Okay, yeah, I've sent letters and haven't had any response. I contacted the Realtor on the sign out front, and he wasn't able to help either.
I know
So-
the neighborhood has talked about getting rid of the bags, but we were told not to touch them, so.
No sense of you guys looking at it, right?
Well, I don't look at it because it's pretty far from my house, but I never noticed they were there until 2 days ago. I was told they were there last week.
All right, I'll offer 13-078, authorizing innovation of 5946 Raga Drive.
Second.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Darrell.
Welcome.
Thanks, Darrell. Next up is Greg with his monthly report and a couple of resolutions.
Good evening. The monthly report for June has been submitted for your review. Quick highlights: a concrete curb repair in Valencia and Cartagena subdivisions complete, and we're moving forward into other subdivisions, doing very well with that task at hand. The next item, equipment training. This was in cooperation with the Ohio Plan, and it's recommended by our risk reduction agency that we provide equipment training refresher course. So we networked with Buck and Nobby's. We split the cost with the Ohio Plan, so about $400 each. We received 2 instructors, a couple hundred gallons of diesel fuel, and the use of their property to complete this task. Very positive comments from the workforce on this. Last item I'd like to chat about is the safety town at the new Central Trail Elementary School. We chatted with the police officers and brainstormed the different layout, so to speak, what they wanted. So, we adhered to their requests, and from what I heard, it was very successful. Other information is posted for your review. I'm ready to move forward to the next item, please.
I just want to comment, Greg. Spanish word for Cartagena is Cartagena. The G's and H. That's okay.
Okay. Now, let's see.
Did you say C?
Yeah, see, Spanish.
Could have said tequila, but anyways, okay. Recommending Resolution 13-069, permission to advertise for the 2013 leaf pickup bids.
Offer 13-069, advertise for leaf pickup for 2013.
Second.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Recommending Resolution 13-071, advertise for bids for our 2013 microsurfacing project. Microsurfacing is a little different than what we've done in the past. In the past, projects was emulsified seal coat. The difference is that the microsurfacing actually contains a value of cement within the seal coat. Our targeted roadways is Merriweather and the sections of Homerdale off of Merriweather.
I'll offer Resolution 13-071 for 2013 microsurfing project.
Second.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
I saw that, Greg, over when I was down in Columbus. They were having one of the companies down there were talking about it, and we sat down, and they showed me the material.
Mhm.
Pretty good stuff, and it doesn't use that much material.
Correct. It's an excellent pavement preservation item. And the Mylar sheet is in the trustees' room.
Right.
Next item is Resolution 13-072 to accept the revised Holt Road drainage easement. Apparently, there was a typo error on the original drainage easement through Feller Finch, so we worked this out, and the attached documents will show you that's been in existence for about 10 years now. March of 2004 was the original.
Offer Resolution 13-072, accept revised Holt Road drainage easement.
Second.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genoway?
Yes.
Recommending resolution number 13-073. This is to award a bid and enter into contract for the new vehicle fueling station together with Vetter Design Group. I feel we have a very nice thought process on this fueling station. It enhances the traffic flow for the restrictions that we have back here, and I think it'll work. So,
Are we going to get the card reader too with that, Greg?
yes, actually that is the alternates, as you see in the
Right.
bottom paragraph, so it will include the card reader and a modem for the fuel tanks that will send a fax to our fuel distributor. So, all these things.
All right, I'll offer Resolution 13-073 to award contract for new vehicle fueling station.
Second?
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Haddad?
Yep.
Mr. Genoway?
Yes.
And the contract is in the trustees' room, please, for signature.
I might add that the reason this is, well, first of all, our fueling depot back there, the pumps were giving out, it was old and had to be replaced anyways, but this has been mainly brought on, this would be, instead of having a fueling depot at the fire stations, this will be a central location, and one of the things was the redesign of it, so the fire engines can come in and pull alongside, and there'll be multiple areas where they can fuel, so we can fuel 3 or 4 vehicles at once, especially during the wintertime when the road people are out there with their salt and fire trucks and that.
Greg, I had one, with all the rain we've been having, I haven't noticed any drainage or flooding issues. How's the stormwater update? Are things going pretty well?
Actually, almost all of our flooding stormwater concerns were of a sump pump issue or something along with the property owner responsibility type format. I'm not aware of any flooding that occurred. I think it's over the last few years we've been able to nick away at some of these issues.
Then did I see or hear the county is preparing to do a 10-mile creek cleanout?
The county is working with a consultant. They established 3 choke points between the Her Road area, Centennial Road area, and Savine Avenue by Silica. Over in that area, yes.
Okay. When do they expect to be moving forward with that, or when do they?
I was talking to them, and they're moving right now everything out of the government center down to Springfield Township, to the big building out there. So he said they're not going to get even going to the end of the month,
Okay.
because they're tacking everything up when I was down there the other day.
Maybe we could have a public meeting, kind of give the community an update, maybe like September, October, something like that.
Good idea.
Okay. Yeah, okay, after Labor Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll call Brian Miller and start the...
Sounds great.
Thanks, Greg. Next up is our fire department.
Good evening. Before you have the June monthly report. Bottom of page 2, you can see that we're still running yearly a little bit ahead of ourselves, or more than what we did last year as far as our fire reports. We're seeing more fire incidents than we did last year. On page 3, the EMS reports coincidentally are down almost the same amount that the fire reports were, so I don't really understand that, but we're showing a little less EMS reports. With this hot weather hitting, we'll probably start seeing a lot more difficulty breathers and cardiac issues as those that shouldn't be out in the weather will get out in the weather these next couple days as it gets hotter. Page 4, mutual aid incidents. I know this has always been of interest to you. This last month we had 4 incidents that we needed actually mutual aid from other communities. The one that I'd like to point out is a 5912 Artwell. That is a non-hydrant district. That was a house fire that was pretty much involved when we first pulled up. We received mutual aid from Richfield Township, a tanker, from Ottawa Lake, the fire department tanker, and also from Spencer Township sent us a engine with 1,200 gallons on it. So we did take advantage of our mutual aid contracts that we have with our surrounding municipalities. The other 2 were just fill-ins from Springfield. Other 3 were fill-ins from Springfield when we did some work on structure fires. Page 5, community risk reduction. We did 15 public safety events. We had 8 public education events, 4 apparatus display events. That's where we take the apparatus out to the kids and let them take a look at them. We try to educate them also at the same time, and we had 6 station tours. As we do every time we have a major fire or a fire of any magnitude, we did the return to the scene. That's about 3/4 down the page. C shift went out, and station number 1 and 3 returned to the scene on Artwell. We went ahead and installed 10 smoke detectors and replaced just 1 battery in the 8 homes in the neighborhood that wanted us to come in and take a look at their smoke detectors. We also assisted with the Township Police and Safety Town. I would also like to comment on Greg's crew. They did a great job with painting those highways. They look fantastic, and the kids really seem to enjoy them. It was a nice thing for you to do for us on that. We tried something new this year. We have Lieutenant Jeff Bennett, Mo the Firehouse Clown. He came out and taught the kids, really kept their interest up, and at the end, on the graduation day, he went out there and made balloon animals for them, so that was quite entertaining for the children. Page 6, Lucas County EMS Continuing Education. We had 56 personnel attend the education. This was basically on trauma. We focused on trauma this last month in June, and some new adjuncts that we're using in the field. Our crews went out and operated pumps at fire scenes, and we also participated in some routine foam training, something that we don't do very often. And page 7 is it's a little dated, but it's a card we just received from someone that we gave a bike to last fall for our safety festival. We got this card in the mail, and thanking us for the free bike that he got in our safety festival. And that's all I have as far as the June report goes, unless you have any questions from the June report. I have one resolution for you to look at. It's 13-0-79. It's a resolution allowing me to conduct a promotional exam. As you know, some of our firefighters are getting up there in their years of service, and there is some talk anyway of a couple individuals retiring, and we're going to have to replace those individuals. We do not have an eligible promotional list for the rank of lieutenant right now. So I would like permission to start that process of conducting an exam for the position of lieutenant.
I'll offer resolution 13-079 to give the fire chief permission to conduct a promotional exam for the future.
Second. Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Nothing else? Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief. Chief Bowman?
Good evening. You have before you the monthly report, but I've got something new that I didn't get a chance to get on the screen for you. It's kind of a neat thing. It's a thing that we were able to do through our membership on the FBI task force. And basically, it's just kind of a
a map showing you commonly where the traffic crashes are occurring, and it only addresses 3 offenses. The second page, the thefts, the burglaries, and the drug offenses, but it gives you a real quick view of what's going on, in different locations in the township. As you can see, Central Avenue continues to be where we take the great majority of our traffic crashes. And then the thefts are occurring all over. In fact, actually right now, we got lots and lots of thefts from vehicles and stuff that seem to be concentrated out toward Pace Setter and also along Monroe Street, but we'll talk about that next month. But I'm going to start to include this map. I think it gives you a real good idea of what's happening. I thought it was pretty cool. And again, it gives you a quick idea of what's going on in the township. The monthly report, page 2, I won't go over all the numbers, but just very quickly, you can see the police CAD entries were 1,451, fire CAD entries were 403 from dispatch. You can see the other numbers as far as the incoming calls. Page 3, again, with the 1,451 incidents or calls for service, you can see our totals. We're down, like the fire department, which is pretty good, pretty significantly overall for incidents. As far as the traffic crashes, it continues to be a little odd. We are up year-to-date in our property damage accidents, not a tremendous amount, but about 10%. And we're down almost that same amount for injury accidents. So there's no rhyme or reason to that. I guess if we're going to be down, I'd much prefer to be down in injury accidents as opposed to property damage accidents, so that's a good thing. And then just going down to a couple of the offenses to note, burglaries, I'm happy to report, we're about 80% of where we were last year. Robberies, we're a quarter of what we were last year, which is a good thing. Those crimes that you cannot prevent, they're going to happen no matter what, like domestic violence, assault, are pretty level with where we were last year at this time. And you see our thefts are down a little bit, and all our other offenses are actually down again, a slight amount, but they're down nonetheless. Page 4, cases assigned. We had 64 cases assigned to detectives in the month of June. Cleared 30 of those cases, 34 remain active, and then we cleared 33 prior cases assigned earlier months, so that we actually cleared 63 cases in the month of June. Next page, page 5, not a whole lot going on with the DE task force at this point. They continue to work the cases and such where, when they get to a certain point or whatever, then there may be a large seizure of assets, which is always kind of nice. But for June, it was kind of quiet, which means maybe July or August, things will pick up quite a bit. Page 6, community affairs. The biggest thing of note for the month of June was, as Chief Kowalski mentioned and Mr. Huffman mentioned, is Safety Town. It went real well. We had 130 kids graduate, and I actually want to commend the other departments for doing a terrific job. I think it's pretty neat that our 3 departments work so closely and so cooperatively in making it a very successful and popular thing for the residents of Sylvania Township. Of course, we continue to have triathlons and car shows and you name it. I'll talk about fireworks next month, which this year was particularly difficult, it seemed. But in fact, that's for next month. But anyway, it keeps us real busy in the summertime. A lot of off-duty projects and things like that, too. A couple of things that of note that I think you'll find pretty interesting. Just 2 real brief things. I don't know if you know about this. Toledo Police got all the credit because, quite frankly, I happened to be out of the office. I didn't get a chance to talk to the media and let them know that we were involved. But I'll just read the brief synopsis from our detective that's in the FBI Fugitive Task Force. Task Force investigators assisted Sylvania Township investigators conducting surveillance on a vehicle and several subjects believed involved in several residential burglaries in Sylvania Township. This surveillance included what we call a GPS tracker that was placed on the suspect vehicle. While conducting surveillance on the subjects in the West Toledo area, these three guys committed an armed robbery of the Six Pack Bar and Grill located on Sylvania Avenue in Toledo. The suspects were then stopped by directed patrol and task force units, resulting in the recovery of all monies taken during the robbery, as well as a loaded .45 caliber handgun. All three subjects were arrested and upon interview admitted to additional armed robbery 2 days prior in Toledo at the dollar store located on Lewis Avenue. So it was kind of neat. I mean, you know, not often do you get to witness a robbery occurring right in front of you, and we were in the right place at the right time doing our job, and obviously that assisted Toledo a great deal in solving a lot of their serious crimes too. Secondly, it was brought to my attention, and I just think it speaks, and I haven't spoken of this officer before, speaks of the caliber of some of the people that we have. I don't know if you saw, it really went viral on YouTube and such back in the wintertime, and this might not be quite as dramatic, but the New York City cop that went and bought the shoes for the homeless person that was sitting out on the street. Again, this isn't quite as dramatic, but I was advised that there's, I won't name her by name, but there's a 97-year-old female that lives in a township who is suffering from some sort of dementia. And Officer Miller responded to a call at her residence and identified that there were several things that she needed as far as household items and such. So Officer Miller took the initiative to use his own money to purchase toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent, and other household goods for this elderly female, just on his own, which is, like I said, speaks to the caliber of Officer Miller and the type of people that we have, not just in the police department, in all the departments. So I just wanted to recognize him for that. Next month, there wasn't a whole lot of activity as far as the K-9 because the team only had a very short time to work in June upon getting back from training and such. But I'll start to include a K-9 activity report for you in the upcoming months too. And with that, I'm done if you have any questions or anything.
Just one question. I was driving down the road today. Some elderly woman just cut out in front of me, didn't even stop at the stop sign. And then she's texting driving. An old woman. I was really shocked. It's usually a kid thing to see, but she was like, I'm going to say 80 years old, and she was texting and driving.
That's correct. I didn't start texting until a year or so ago. So
I don't
that's
text, I talk to
crazy.
text. I don't have to worry about it because it's easier than touching the phone. It's ridiculous. I don't text and drive.
Well, and as you know, texting, I mean, that's illegal now.
I know.
And,
We're going to
you know,
start looking at enforcing that one.
yeah, I wish one of our officers would have happened to see that, or she would have pulled out in front of him.
Yeah.
That would have been sweet.
In a police way.
Yeah, please. Yeah. We would have been able to do our duty, okay? Sounds a little better.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Next up is administrator. I have two reviews of application for liquor permits. One is 7430 Central Avenue. I think the name of the business is pronounced Bodans.
Yeah.
And the other one is Bodans, 5838 West Central, and it's the cigar merchant. Both of these applications have been reviewed by the police and fire department, and neither one has an objection to them. So we don't need, if we're comfortable with it, we don't need to take any action. There ain't no action, we're all set there. As I said,
I heard Lawrence bought the place, and they said it's doing really good. We're supposed to go there for lunch one day.
as I said earlier, I have a report that Mr. Simcoe asked to give. I also have Kevin Lenning from Mosier and Joe Vetter from Vetter Design and the chief here, and they'll be able to have, if they want to make any comments about the construction's going, and how it looks good, and I have some sheets I'd like to pass out to the trustees, and I have a couple extra for the public. I did not think in time to get it up to Jim to, I have a policy. If I don't get you and you want one, I can make more copies. Let me start out by saying that I wish some of the other projects that I've worked on over the years was going as well as this one. I've done projects where they start construction and all of a sudden they find a cemetery. And if you don't think that's a cost overrun to move a cemetery, but most of our construction in-ground has been done, and I'm happy to say there's been very little change orders, and to me, that's the area of most concern is when they start digging into that ground, because you really don't know what's under there. There could be cemeteries or sewers. Well, let me start out by saying, on page 1, if anybody else, on page 1 is our original, we have estimates, and we have the actual, and then the project for July 13. That's either money we've already spent and added to the estimate for the end of the year, or an updated estimate. So, as you can see, we have the architect, pre-construction services, soil testing, and construction. And that totals, for our estimate, and I'm going to round out, $2,070,000. We're currently at $2,136,000, or about $65,000 over our original estimate. Now, once again, this is not money we've already spent. This is money we spent and looking to the future when the day the project's done. The next area is equipment for the station, and as you know, Moser was hired to build the building. We're responsible for the furnishings, the refrigerators, the counters, the bedding, and the generator and that. And as you can see, one of the first items I have on there is a generator, and that was one of the alternates in the bid. And it was a $68,000 bid in the alternate. At that time, we did not take that alternate because we thought we had some other options with the generators. There was possibly one down the street from a building that was being enlarged that we could use, but those did not pan out. So the chief went out and made some calls and got some quotes from different vendors, and it turned out the good news is that we actually saved about $1,500 doing it this way than from the original bid from the construction. As you can see, we have lockers and phones and miscellaneous. Another area that we did not put in the bid was the flagpole. Once again, the chief went out and made calls, and we originally had an estimate of $19,000 for the flagpole, and...
You mean fire pole?
Sorry, fire pole. Thank you. Shouldn't interrupt you, sir.
No problem.
The fire pole, and luckily, the chief was once again able to get it for $13,200, which was about $6,000 less than our estimate. So for the equipment, our estimate was $139,100. We actually are at $127,738, or below our estimate of $11,361. If you add those two together, that will give us the cost at this point of the station. Our estimate is $2,209,000. We're at $264,000, or about $54,000 over our original estimate, which is 2.47%. And I can say one thing, that in many, many projects I've worked on, I don't think I've ever had one that was that close, actual to the estimate. 10% would not be unthinkable. And sometimes it's even more than that when you have unforeseen things happen. So I'm really happy the way things are going. If you've gone by the station lately, it looks great. The walls are going up, and I'll let Moser talk to that later on. One of the last things I want to do is the cost of the station compared to the cost of our other stations. Now, as everybody knows, number one was always planned to be a bigger station. It was going to be a 3-bay station, and Chief, correct me anytime I make any. It was always planned to be a 3-bay station where other stations are 2. So it was going to be a bigger station, and it is 9,000 square feet as opposed to the other stations, which are around 7,800 square feet. So it's going to cost more to build. But I said, well, how does that work out then? So if you look at the cost per square foot of the new Fire One, using our new numbers, it's $251.58 a square foot. If you take the cost of the station number 2 and adjust it for inflation, and I went to an index online, and roughly over the last 3 years, inflation for construction's been about 9%. So I adjusted that, and that makes it $245.95 a square foot. So we're only $5.63 a square foot more than the other station, which is 2.2%, and that equals about $50,000. So to me, that's good news, that we're within $50,000 of what it would cost to build those other stations, and we're building Fire One for that. On the second page is the revenue. How are we going to pay for this station? Well, we have $150,000 in the fire capital from the levy proceeds from previous years. We have a balance of the bond fund, and as you know, notice I made a little editorial comment in there that the bond issue was not sized correctly for this project. And I talked about that a couple months ago when I gave that statement that I never heard of issuing the bond before you build the building, 2 years before. I mean, how you know what the construction would be. And that gives us $2,165,000. So currently, just in the levy dollars for the bond and the fire capital, we have $2,315,568. And if you look, that's roughly $65,000 more than our current estimate. So without even touching our contingencies, which is $200,000, we should, if things go right, and once again, these are estimates, we still have a long way to go, we will actually have $65,000 more than we need to build that station. And with that, I'd like the chief and Joe and Kevin come up if you have any questions for them, or they can just make statements of how it's going. And
Good evening. One important point with regard to the comparing this cost to the cost of the other stations, $75,000 of that cost was demolition of the existing station, so actually it's coming in a little less than the inflation-adjusted amount for Fire Station 2. But generally speaking, the project is going very well. The bidding process, there were no great issues. We have a very good contractor in Mosier. I think everyone's very familiar with them. We've been having weekly meetings. The chief is part of the meetings. Chief has been great to work with, all his staff. The guys at Mosier are looking ahead and staying ahead of things that are coming up. The next things to be constructed, because I think, as everyone knows, it's a very tight site. They've been doing a good job with controlling the traffic. And the one big issue day was when the precast planks were set, and there's another day like that coming in about a month when the roof steel is going to be set. But other than that, they've been doing a great job of working things through on the site. Everybody's communicating real well, and of course there's always issues that come up as construction's going on, and it's a good team, and that leads to a good final product. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
Great job. Positive comments.
Joe, great job.
Yeah, good job.
what I have, or?
Is it okay, Kevin?
Schedule, if you'd like.
Sure. How are you doing on schedule?
Sure.
At the end of June, I'm Kevin Winning with Mosier. At the end of June, we were about 40% complete with the schedule. You can see that the masonry's going up. We're topping it out as you're coming across, going west on Monroe. You see that the station is getting higher than Speedway now, and it's going to draw a lot of attention to the downtown area. So, and we see a lot of the feature with the Founder's Brick. It's really a nice looking, nice building, and that's a tribute to the Vetter Design Group and their selections. So we see that the steel's coming, like Joe mentioned, in a month. So you're going to see another crane coming out to set the steel, and then interior finishes. We're going to close the building, and then interior finishes will happen. So we are on schedule, and it is a tight site. It is a very tight site, but we anticipated that during the estimate, and we've got materials coming, just storing it on site and then using it, putting it in place. We've got other storage right across the street. We've got a temporary office that we're leasing across the street as well. So there's a lot of traffic that goes back and forth, but with high visibility clothing and attention to detail as far as safety goes, we continue to want to keep this a very safe site. So we appreciate the help that we get with maintaining that. So, any questions or schedule?
Nice, Kevin.
No, looks great, thank you.
I, just to let you know that I have talked to the chief, and we'll be putting this document on our website.
Nice.
So the chief, and then as we update it weekly or monthly or however we want to update it, it'll be on the website so anybody can see it.
Hey, Dave, just you being the numbers guy, as a fiscal officer, I think it was a great idea. Full disclosure, everybody can see it on site. I'm glad you brought up the fact, let's get a mid-project review, so thank you guys for coming. And transparency and letting everybody know where we're at on the project, I think is wonderful. Thank you.
Just got to go to my original comments. My original cost of the building would have been, if we would have moved to another location, was $1.85 million, and we're $500,000 over, so I was exactly right on my numbers. That's all I'm going to say.
That's,
Done.
Well,
That's all I'm going to say.
What numbers were those?
I said $1.85 million for a 3-base station if we would have moved locations.
what cost per square foot was that?
It was compared to the other stations with a $200,000 extra.
what
base.
was the cost per square foot?
Yeah, I mean, if we had a 9,000 square foot,
It was let me see, because we had it with one floor, it was 8,200, I think it's 75,000 square feet. 8,275 square feet.
What happens to the old station when we move to a new location?
We would have sold it for $500,000 to Sylvania City or to the gas station, because the gas station wanted it.
I have to
That's
disagree
true.
that Sylvania City never said they were going to buy this.
They wanted it because,
Talk to
I'll
the
tell you why
mayor.
they wanted it, because the gas station wanted it for
Well,
$500,000 and they wanted the
I
gas
agree,
station to
but
buy it.
Sylvania wanted it for free.
Right.
They would not.
If-
All right,
The gas
anyways,
station wanted to give us $500,000 for it. They already
This is,
contacted
you know
us.
what, you guys are doing a great job, okay? Full disclosure, everybody sees it.
Not full disclosure.
This
We didn't get to vote on
is
the
purely a political issue for you, Mr.
Not a
Haddad.
political issue, Mr.
Please.
Mahoney, no.
Please.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Kevin, I just, I
Purely political.
don't want to hear, but I just don't understand how we can build a 9,000 square foot
You can't.
station for 1 million, what did you say, 1 million?
We built the other two stations for 1.5 to 1.6
They
million.
were 2 base stations.
I'm saying a 3-base station was an extra $200,000 cost. I already had a cost estimate out.
Joe, you're a
I went-
professional, you build multiple fire stations. We have complete confidence in what you're
I'm not saying Joe
accomplishing
did
here, and
anything
what
wrong.
Kevin,
Your
you guys are doing a great job.
two-story station, you got to pull in an elevator, all the other costs.
Did you-
Your additional costs.
Did you
That would have
inflate,
been in the original
did you
station.
inflate those dollars to today's dollars too?
Yes, because it
So
was
we-
a one-story station.
It
No,
doesn't
I'm saying
matter.
that it costs more to build today
Not the
than...
point. It was
Okay.
still one-story station. We had it built
Chief,
last year.
Well, I think the community's very happy with the progress we're making, and I do like the fact that we get an update on it. We'll keep track of the schedule. I think that's important.
It's running smooth, it's unfortunate
And
that
I-
you think differently, Mr. Haddad, because the
I'm sorry,
thing's
that's my
running,
opinion.
thing is running very smooth.
I just have a comment. I don't want to get involved in the other things,
I
but
can't believe we're still talking about this, the building's half-built. It's crazy.
having worked at the tail end of number 3's fire station, and having had some input with the number 2's fire station, and having the input that I have with this station, which is a lot more than I have at number 2's fire station, I think Mr. Vetter hit it right on the head. It's a team. It's a team of professionals that are working together to make this the best building that we possibly can for the price that we quoted. And I'll tell you what, the Vetter Design Group and Mosier, I'm very happy with them. I've worked with other contractors at 3s and 2s, and I'm elated that they're on the team. I think they do a fantastic job. When things come up, issues come up, we handle them right away, we get them taken care of, and we move on. And I couldn't be happier with both these gentlemen and their teams. Thank you.
Me neither. They're both great guys.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank
They're
you.
both great contractors. There's nothing against what we're going on.
Next up, I
What
have
we're doing
Moving on.
with people's money.
Moving on.
the fiscal officer,
Moving on.
Mr.
Yep.
Simcoe, your
Fiscal.
report.
Well, okay.
Go ahead, Dave.
My report here. We've got a month-end analysis, and you see we're 6 months into the year now, and things are taking a little bit more shape, as you can really see. And so our revenues, we think, are really in good shape. Actually, they're slightly exceeding, I think, what we really expected. And so we're pleased with that, because, again, our estimates are pretty accurate, and our revenue really doesn't vary that much, because we depend on tax dollars, and that's pretty consistent. You can call the auditor and really get some good numbers from them. They're very good at predicting it, I have to say. And so we're close in that, but we are slightly ahead, and particularly in the general fund, that's doing extremely well. And actually, I can say that in the fire fund, you see down there that, that second quarter EMS payment did come in right at the beginning of July. It's not in these numbers, but our fire fund, and that's kind of a happenstance when it comes. So fire fund, if that had come, June 30th, would be right up there with the police fund or awfully close. So again, our revenues are good, but I think those are fairly predictable, but what we really need to look at are our expenditures and how we're doing on controlling our expenses and our sticking with our budget. And so right now, if you look at our expenditures, we're actually doing really very well there too, vis-a-vis last year, where our numbers are good on last year, but if you look at this year's, they're slightly down in that, and so it's really this thing that we've been working on here and developing a culture, I think, in the township over the last several years that the trustees have been really promoting and administration's been promoting of not just getting the heads of the departments to get on board on trying to keep our expenses, but I think we've gotten the employees, and this is not just now, but it's been developing over the years, where they realize that we're really transparent in what we are doing. We're honest about our numbers and where we are financially, and I think we're getting, buy-in from the employees who oftentimes, help drive whether your expenses are going up or down. I mean, and we have, I think, a thing where our employees are with us on these things, and so they're helping, working hard to keep our expenditures in line really too, and it's reflected in the numbers that we have. So, every month's a new month, but right now I think we're doing well. In the first 6 months we've done well. So, when you're sitting here looking at the numbers, as Zeigler and Beck and I do, and trustees, we worry about these things all the time, but we're doing well, I think. We're doing well. That's really my hat. Hopefully it's as good next month. But then again, I say,
one month at a time.
And so the next, if there's not any questions, I've got resolution 13-074, and you see it up there on the, I'll just flew by us there. Oh, this is more the detail of it. And you see there where we are moving some money. The fourth one down is a little bit bigger number, and that's going for the building, the fire department, the building. And what we're doing is, the budget passed in December of 12, and that, of course, but we were still working on station number 1 and the numbers really. And then, the contract came in from Moser and that in April as we got the bids back. And so this is money that is the balance of the bond money that we're now moving so that we can start expending it, because as we know, we're about halfway, we're got about $1 million spent so far in the fire station. We've got another 900 or so to go. And so this is the balance of the bond money and the capital money that's being moved. It's just been sitting, waiting really to be appropriated, and that's now what we're doing, appropriating out that money. And we need to do it now because we are going to be spending additional money. We would be purchasing things for the fire station. That's all really been budgeted for. It's included in our price, but we didn't know exactly where to be putting it until the time was right. And so now's the time, and that we're starting to do that. And the other larger one, the $110,000, is really for our new fuel depot that I think was really just discussed a couple minutes ago.
Right.
And it's going to be lend with more efficiency here, because it costs us a little bit of money to do that. So, but we had that budgeted too, and it'll make us better, I think, in our efficiencies. And so over the long run, it should save us some money, I think. So if there aren't any questions in that,
I'll offer resolution 13-04, increase appropriation from unappropriated balance.
Second. 074.
What did I say?
04.
Oh,
That's all right.
074.
So we had Neil.
Second?
Oh, Neil.
Okay, I have a comment to make. I'll read line 3, whereas we need to cover the remaining construction costs for fire station number 1, which were planned but not appropriated. Okay, go ahead and call the vote.
Hold on, let's make sure, what is he talking about?
Part of the resolution.
Well, what we're saying is that this was part of the budget for the fire station, and so that's what the word planned means there, that it was part of the expenses that were anticipated, that were budgeted for the fire station, and now we're just moving them within our budget into the, appropriate account to make the expenditures.
Call the
So,
roll.
all right, Mr. Haddad?
No?
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
And we have our next resolution, transfer of appropriations, and it's resolution 13-075. And,
076.
07, no, it says
Is it 075? I'm on the other one then. I missed one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, this is 13075.
Got that one.
And there they are, smaller numbers that need to be spread around. There's some shortfalls in some of the line items of all the funds, and so we're just moving some money around to cover those things.
And those are all within their own fund, they're not...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll offer resolution 13-075, transfer appropriations.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Okay, I have one more. Let's see, we'll come to the file.
76.
Yeah, there it is, 13-076, and it's in advance of funds, and from the fire fund to the fire grant fund to pay for EMS expenses prior to being reimbursed. I mean, we get reimbursed. Now, many of the grants, as you know, we have to advance the money, and then we apply and get the money back. And so, we get it back, but, so that's what this is all about here.
Offer 13-076 for advancement of funds, money to the fire fund.
And Mr. Haddad? Oh,
Yes.
second?
Second?
Okay, Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Thanks, Dave.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Kevin, you had something from the state that you wanted to
Yes,
mention?
I was down in Columbus for the Lucas County, as a Lucas County Township Association. All counties were invited to go down there. We're discussing the governor's new budget. The sales tax will be in Lucas County 7% now. It's going up 0.25%. We're going to have a 3-year decline in our local government fund, 10% a year for the next 3 years, starting in 2014. 8% for the rest of this year, 10% next year, and then 10% the following year, which will totally result in a 30% decrease in local government funding. So we're going to have to adjust our budget on the general fund appropriately, or you guys are going to have to start looking at a levy, which I really don't want to do.
Hey, John, our budget, if I recall, had these all in place.
The local government fund
Correct.
was decreased, but Kevin, once again, I don't know what the discussion was down there, but I did talk to Mac DeTempo from OTA yesterday, and with the budget passed, it's still in flux. There probably will not be an increase in the local government fund, but he said there could be a 2% decrease.
It's going to result in, over us, it's going to be a 17 to 18%, because Heidi and I talked about it, and I talked to Randy Gardner, and I talked to...
Well, at this point, it's in flux. I mean, they don't have numbers yet.
I know, but I'm saying the governor, according to what he passed and signed.
I also called the Lucas County auditors up, and once again, they're being optimistic, but they said there could be a small increase. The local government fund, the way they thought there was going to originally be an increase was the local government fund was going to be 1.96 of general fund revenue, and the law passed, and I don't know who did this, but they changed it 1.66.
Right.
And so if you take that percent...
So we're a little ways off here.
No, we're getting money.
And if there is any decrease, it won't start till August. 'Cause
Right.
They held harmless. And we're already halfway through the state fiscal year.
We have to wait the 90 days after the law was
So
passed for it to be
this,
discussed.
for 2013, we should be in fine shape because we're halfway through. It'll be 8 months of actual what we planned on before the new budget kicks in. And I'll keep the trustees informed of any changes, but they're working on it right now, because, see, the problem with the local government fund, it will be based on the general fund revenue. And once again, if things pick up and the general fund gets more revenue, we'll get 1.66 of that. If they decrease, we'll get less, but right now it's in flux.
Well, thanks to, again, not just to sound a Dave here, but and you guys as managers, looking at all the numbers that with our expenses and our revenues, we're falling well within where we need to be as the
Right.
future of the township.
Well, I don't want to say,
No,
Mr.
that's
Simcoe does
fine.
have one good bit of news about
Pardon?
the estate tax, if you want to mention that.
Oh, yeah, we did have, we budgeted this year $300,000 we anticipated in the Ohio estate tax that would be coming into the township. And so far this year, it's good. We've received, I think it's $700,000 to date, so that's one of the reasons our general fund numbers are up. We did get a letter in not too long ago that they anticipate another
1,000.
Yeah, somewhere around that, yes. And so that's a good thing because it's much more than what we really budgeted for it, and that helps us immensely. The unfortunate part of that is that as we go on, you know, the estate tax, the legislature passed a law effective this year, January 1 of 13, the beginning of this year, where eliminating the estate tax totally. And so that's been a good source of funds for us. Now, there will be money that will continue to trickle in, you know, because after date of death, you have 9 months to file your Ohio state tax return, and you can get extensions and stuff like that. In fact, one of these estates that came in this $700,000 payment was 5 years old. So we will probably, over the next 3-4 years, see but it's a diminishing resource. And the other thing I was going to say is that on our budgeting, and that what we have been doing is we've been budgeting down. I mean, we've been trying to budget down, reflecting what we think has been happening with less funds coming in. And so we're doing, I think, a good job of for lack of a soft landing here for us, rather than kind of going along thinking, oh, everything's going to work out and then fall off the cliff. You know, you can see from our numbers that when we were up there before that we've got a pretty good handle on our revenues. We know what they are. They're decreasing some, but we're also working hard in our expenditures. And again, that's been part of more of this team effort of looking at the administrators and the employees to be mindful of this. This is no joke. But all they have to do is read the papers over the last several years, and they all know it too. I mean, it's confirming what we're telling them. And that. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
To lighten things up with the humorous story to end the meeting is, as Dave says, we all understand, you know, the finances of the township. And one of the things we mentioned a while ago is that we eliminated the cleaning services for this building, and everybody cleans itself. And Natalie, I hope you don't mind, but she was here Friday, and I said, excuse me, I got to go get the vacuum and clean my office. She said, can I get a picture then? I said, no. No picture. And the reason was, I didn't want my wife to see that I knew how to vacuum. Because if she saw a picture like that, I'd be in trouble at home. And she's listening.
I'm just worried about the continued cuts from the state level. That's all, because now with the new resolution they passed down there too about all new levies, all levies. If it's not a renewal, if it's a replacement or a new levy, we're not getting any rollback from the state, so the residents are going to have to pay 100%. A lot of people are going to realize that, and they're not going to pay for those taxes.
It's yeah. As long as it's a new or a renewal, as long as we keep doing replacements and...
No, renewal, you can't, a replacement,
I'm sorry, renewal keeps it.
Renewal keeps them.
Yeah.
Thank heavens, you guys have done a great job, and we can fight the battle for a while, so great work.
Thank you.
Is there any hearing of the public on non-agenda items?
Nobody signed in.
No. All right, I would like to offer a motion to close the meeting at 7:01.
Thanks. Second.
Okay, Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.